For the record, the building that you are looking at there no longer exists in this form. And if you take a trip to St. John, Grenada, and you go to Brothers, you would not see a building looking like that. Hurricane Ivan did a job on the building, and it is now a change building. You would not see it existing like this. But I want to talk about this building, the one that you're looking at, because it is significant. It was going all the way back to the time of Julian Fedon. And then it was converted into a Coco Bucan. But of course, before that, Revolution Estate Hall, or some people say Revolution Hall Estate, of Julian Fedon's time. Because Fedon had his troops stationed there at one time, and also on a different occasion. Troops, the British troops, were stationed there also. Real historic information here. Now, let me come to Brother Melvin Shaper, the American missionary who came to Grenada, and he grabs the opportunity to establish a secondary school using this whole Coco Bucan. But what was important, what was significant, was the fact that it was not just a school that taught the regular subjects, English and chemistry and mathematics and sciences and so on. It was a school with a difference. Now, I have already written, and you can see it in even the books that I've written, about the importance of the school and how it helped those who were given a second chance when hope had faded. They were not able to attend the GBSS and the Anglican High School and St. Joseph Convent, etc., Presentation Brothers College. So they seized the opportunity to attend the St. John's Christian Secondary School. I can still see the buses were going on mornings, and when I was part of it, sitting in the buses up to the school. At this point, I want to list some of the subjects that were taught in the school in the early years that made it so important and significant. Well, people talk these days about Grenadian history. And that was taught in Form 1 by a certain woman, Miss Kathleen Peters. I say Peters because she's now married, but people recognize the name Peters. Miss Kathleen Peters taught Grenadian history. And more than that, Brother Shaper, he actually encouraged students to know more about Grenadian history. Consequently, trips were made to Fedon Camp. Mr. Holman Hall, a teacher in the early days, could tell you about that. Trips were made to Fedon Camp. So the interest in our history was there at Shaper School. We say St. John's Christian Secondary School, but we also say Shaper School. So some people will actually be able to recognize it more if you say Shaper School. Let's go to auto mechanic. Oh man, I look back and I say I'm so sorry I never took the opportunity to learn about the intricacies of vehicles, because auto mechanic was offered as a subject at the school. A man called Reverend Pryor, Brother Pryor, taught auto mechanic, a missionary from the United States. And many people gain valuable information about cars, vehicles. A spot on the ground, the school grounds, was selected to teach students about auto mechanic, because not everybody interested in knowing about chemistry and maths. People will go after the talent that they're much suited to actually go after and to make use of, sorry. So yes, auto mechanic, a subject taught on the grounds of the school. Reverend Pryor. Now in the early years also, I must mention a woman, I believe she's from Guelph, Miss Dulcie McQuilkin, and she passed away just a few years ago. Yes, she passed away, and she made it to 100 years. Yes, she passed away in Brooklyn, but she taught handicraft, taught students how to make different things, the baskets and all the different things. So you see how varied the subjects were? Before computers came in and became important, students were taught how to type. I believe the typing was done in the library of the school. So typing was a subject taught at the school. Agricultural science, and we credit very intelligent man, intellectual par excellence, Dr. Dunstan Campbell, a product of the Grenada Boys Secondary School, because the school was able to, Brother Shaper was smart, man. He pulled in all these intellectuals from all the secondary schools, the established secondary schools, and they ended up at Shaper School. Dr. Keith Mitchell taught there, and Anthony Boatson, the Campbell brother and sisters, Denise and Dennis Campbell from Happy Hill. So many people came in there. Sir Carlisle Glean. So Carlisle Glean actually became governor of Grenada. All came to Shaper School. Yes, Dr. Dunstan Campbell and my very good friend Errol Alexis can tell you all about the agricultural science class, because agriculture is important. And so Brother Shaper saw the need for such a subject like that. And Dr. Dunstan Campbell played a significant role teaching students about agricultural science. Now to Brother Shaper and his philosophy class. You see, Brother Shaper wanted us to think. So there was a class, philosophy, where we learned about the philosophers. We learned about Socrates and Plato, and there was one philosopher, he spoke about a man called Immanuel Kant. Boy, Grenadian fellas used to laugh in the class. Them guys laughing when he say Kant. You know why? The word Kant sounded so much like a bad word. Grenadians knew well. So yes, these are some of the other areas apart from the regular subjects that Brother Shaper was able to bring in as subjects in the school. So when in January 2025, which is very close, you see students, intellectuals, doctors, and people involved in agriculture, journalists, and in all the various fields, when you see them assemble at the St. John's Christian Secondary School to celebrate the 60th year anniversary of the school, you would know that the school had a solid foundation. And I must not fail to mention the spiritual side, because we were taught to maintain a belief in a supreme being, in God. And that benefited us throughout the years. For today, when our spirits sag, we can all go back to the wonderful singing that we used to sing in the auditorium at St. John's Christian Secondary School. And just in closing, let me mention that this building you're seeing here, situated on the grounds of the school at Brothers, is of historic importance also, because the estate manager of Revolution Hall Estate lived in that building during Ferron's time. Look at the building. Real historic. Anthony Wendell, the Riggs. God bless. I'm so glad that I went to that school.